Viewers, in my previous video, I gave you a little snack, so to speak, a midweek snack, where I picked up these two mowers. Well, I'm just going to focus on this video on this mower. I just used it mowing the lawn at my brother-in-law's house. It works fine for a couple passes, and it would just shut off. Go prime it again some. Run for about a minute, maybe, and then it would stop again. And it did that for the whole time. This mower, I was using it, and it would run for like 30 seconds or so and then die. It would start back up again. I would just prime it or pull the cord, and it would start up again, and it would do the same thing. There's a couple things that can cause that. Bad coil, bad spark plug, bad gas cap. I've only seen a bad gas cap once, where it wouldn't vent, so then it would cause a it wouldn't let new air in, so the fluid level wouldn't replace as it burn. I don't think that's the case here. If not, I have a gas cap, just a new one. But I'm gonna first go the easy route. Let's take the spark plug off and change it. Do it. Let me see. I might have a used one. This is a Champion RC12 YC. This is a used one, probably still good. So I'm gonna just go ahead and change it and see what happens. You know, what's the worst that could happen? It not work. There we go. So I've only seen a couple bad spark plugs. Never one that worked a little bit. Just always completely bad. So let me go try that one now, and I'm just gonna let it sit there and idle. I'm not gonna see if it dies. I'll try to record it as it does it. It does have about a half tank of gas. Gas is questionable because that's what's in it when I picked it up. So let me go start this up. Here we are. Here. Still going strong. I'm gonna go ahead and start mowing my own lawn with it and see if it shuts off. I have to stop the video here right now. It off again all by itself after 3 passes. So I'm gonna start it up again. It should so that spark plug probably isn't the problem. Maybe it's the coil, or maybe it's the gas cap. I'm not gonna. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up again, show you that it dies by itself. As you just saw, the engine just died while I was running it, using it. After I didn't even make one pass, I let it idle a while and decided to make a pass on the grass, and it just died. I don't think it's a spark plug now at this point. Really thinking it's going to be unfortunately a coil, and I don't have one for this engine unless I can take it off of that one temporarily and install it, which I might try. I assume the 550EX is the same, uses the same coil as this one. I don't know. That would rule out coil. If it was a coil problem, that would rule if it's a coil problem or not. So what I'm gonna do is I've already taken off, there's 3 bolts that hold this on. Just, and you can do this. And you can take a look under things here. I haven't looked at this. So, I haven't cleaned the carburetor on this. And sometimes some things that can cause that is if the kill wire is, if it's, you know, the sheathing of it is kind of, if I could find it. Oh, the sheathing of it, there it is. You know, kind of over here, if the sheathing of it is worn off, and then it causes it to well, the sheathing of it's worn off, and it can accidentally hit. It can sometimes vibrate, and then it'll hit the body of it, of the engine, and then that'll short it out. So what I'm going to do to diagnose if it's the coil, I'm not going to change it yet. I'm just going to pull the kill wire on that in order. But then the only thing I can do to shut this off is pull the spark plug boot out, which is difficult to do. So this may be running for a while or until it dies. So yeah, I'm gonna pull this. Kill wire doesn't look bad. The sheathing appears to be on it, so I'm just gonna pull that kill wire and I'm gonna put the top back on, start it, and let it run. Now, rigged up here is I put a zip tie here on the boot, so when I need to pull, if I decide I need to pull it, I can just do this. So let's go start this thing up again. Kill wire is disconnected, and let's go run this. Okay. It just took longer, but it finally did it. So it's not, could be the coil at this point. I'm going to check out the carburetor too. Let's go over. Ran this and it would run for a little while and then it would just stop. It's got plenty of gas in it. Gas is questionable, but it runs. After a while it just seems to just shut off on its own. I did, to rule out something else, I disconnected the kill switch to see if it was something with the wiring of the kill switch, and that didn't do anything. I still cut out. So at this point, I really think it's the coil, or it could be the gas cap, which I really don't think it is. I can compare this gas cap to a new one that I have, see if that is anything that's visibly different in it. The thing I can think of that can cause this problem is a bad spark plug, but I re-changed it to another spark plug. Bad coil, well, that can do this, but I unplugged the kill wire. It could be a kill wire wiring problem, and since I disconnected the kill wire, that eliminated that it's not the kill wire. I wonder if it could be a valve blast issue, but it doesn't feel like it's losing compression. It leaves us with carburetor and coil. Carburetor, I could take it apart and look at it and clean it and put it back. I doubt, and I wonder if there's a little bit of water in the fuel. I wonder if, you know, that's working its way through, or if we've got like a collapsed line, fuel line, and it's starving itself for fuel after a while. So that's really all I've got left is gas cap, starving itself from fuel, and coil. I don't have a coil for this one, unless it's the same one that's for that one. But then I would have to go get a coil for that one, because these HyperTough ones, the most I would get for this in perfect condition, you know, perfect use condition with the full tune-up, oil change, all, is going to be maybe $80 to $100 around here on a good day. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to inspect the fuel system to see if that could be causing this problem, which I've never seen something like that before. Usually the fuel system, it dies like within a couple seconds, not several minutes. So I wonder if it's a collapsed fuel line, or maybe there's some junk buildup on the there's a screen in the tank. I'm gonna just go ahead and clean out the tank and carburetor. I'm gonna pour the gas into this container. It's the only one I've got that doesn't have gas in it right now. That's empty. So to get these tanks off, it's just, you just pull them up like that, and fuel line feels pliable. So we'll see how this goes. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the tank off and clean it. Here's the gas. So if you use a container like this, you never can drink out of anything that goes into this container. And I'm gonna just take off this. I checked the fuel line, it's not collapsed. You can see there. So, gonna just start taking off the carburetor and going through that. If it still does this, it's got to be the coil. So, let me get my 932nd.
9/30 seconds, or if you're in the metric world, 7 and 8. Let's check out this carburetor. See if there's something funky going on.
Ready. Let me see. I see the breather doesn't want to stay on. I don't know if that has anything to do with this. But I mean, it doesn't want to stay on tight. So what I'm going to do when I put this back together, I'm just going to put a zip tie around this to tighten it up. Because I don't have another one of these breather hoses. Well, there we go. And unfortunately, it happens a lot of times, is this stuck to the block. And it's supposed to be in here, which it's okay. It came out. It's just that it's supposed to be in here. So that can cause a problem too. It causes a bad seal. So we'll put this back in. And we're gonna open this carburetor up and take a look at it. Got some fuel in here still. So it's 9/30 seconds, these bolts. And I need to get a small screwdriver. Brushing off the top, and I'll probably spray it down. Kind of pry it in here on the corner, and then it'll come out. So, I see something that could account for this. See all that junk? That's dried ethanol fuel. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clean this carburetor and stick it back. Seems like that probably is what's the problem. And let me see here. Yep. So I've never seen, usually they don't run at all, unless what was happening was this was stuck on the bottom, and the fuel, this valley here wasn't filling up enough before it got to this, when it needed more fuel. So that's definitely a problem. Usually they just don't run at all, or they surge. Interesting. So let me just go clean this up. This is what ethanol in your fuel does as it ages. It turns to gel. Let me get some paper towels and stuff to also clean this out. So I wiped out the bowl with a paper towel, and let's pull this float out and needle. Let's see, it's a plastic needle. So I'm going to just rinse that off quickly. You don't want to my tray is all dirty, so let me go clean this up. To get this jet cartridge out, what I do is I just take a flat edge screwdriver, or you can just grab it with some pliers, and I just kind of pry it up like this to look at the here. Now we're gonna clean this out to even further. So this cartridge comes out here, and be very careful, you can break this. If I screw this up, I do have another cartridge around, and I think I even have another carburetor for this engine. It's brand new. I have broken that before. Don't ask me how I know. Now we're gonna go clean these out with some carb spray and a little wire for all these holes for the jet. Now, got the carburetor down there. Here, I'm just going to spray it out. Make sure fuel can go in. Now, set that aside. And now, sorry, it's kind of hot out here. Now we're gonna run this wire for all these little holes here. We're not gonna make them bigger, just kind of scrape them around here, and then spray them out. There, that's clean. Now we got this one. This is here. We've got a bunch of little holes. Just run this through it. We're gonna spray carb spray in all these holes, and this is the main jet right here. This one. This is where they like to clog up. And this wire I'm using is just it's wire from like a twisty tie from like a loaf of bread. Some people have torch strip cleaners, and I don't have those. So we got here, we got here. There, that's clean. So now we're just gonna reassemble this. So what you do is, actually goes on like this. Got to go down a little bit more. So hang on. So one final rinse off, and this only goes in one way, like that. And that top part, I think, there's a little white thing in there in the center by that white donut. That's it needs to go through there, otherwise line up in there, otherwise it will not, you won't be able to put it in. So now to reassemble. Let's put the needle on. Goes on, I like to put it on like this. Then we can maybe stick the hinge pin in here. Make sure your needle's in place still. and put it down. Yep, the needle's still in there. It's in the back there. So give it a quick rinse before we close it all up. Take our clean bowl, which is really what I think was the problem here, which has caused the float height, the float problem, probably. And oh, got a little bit of dirt there, and this goes on like that. It only goes on one way. So squish it down, get our bolts here. These are the longer ones, 9/32, and we're going to put them on, screw back in. So I'm gonna do it like this because I'm lazy today. The torque is not really high on this drill, so do not use an impact. One final rinse off here. And let's reassemble. Put this back on. Make sure your O-ring's in here. And let's put this one linkage on and stick it on here. Remember, on this one, for whatever reason, this thing was loose, so I'm going to stick a zip tie on that. Now, let's put this breather on here. Like this. Let me get my, I can put the zip tie on later, but T. So now let's put the zip tie here over this breather line to make sure it stays on. And I'll cut that zip tie off. Now that we got the fuel line attached, you got the zip tie here on the breather to hold that in. I don't know why I had to do that. And it barely fits on these two tabs. There. So just fuel line is just long enough. We'll stick the recoil on, stick some gas in it, and gas in it. I don't see any water in it. Do you see a little debris in it? So I got myself a poor man's filter. Just gonna pour it in through a paper towel, and that should filter out some of the debris. Here we go, I'm gonna start it up. problems idling there. Little choppy. I think the idle needs to be increased. So to see that, there's a spring. There's a right here. There's a little tab here. You can bend. You're gonna bend it forward. It puts more pull on the governor to increase the idle. I can't show you how you do it while it has to be done while it's running, so I can't really show that. As you can see, it's increased the idle a little bit. Still surging a little bit, but look at the old gas. I've been trying to mow my lawn with this and cut out once, started right back up. Now it's surging a little bit, even after some adjustments with the governor. I have this brand new carburetor. I'm just gonna stick this in. This is aftermarket, so you don't need for me to show you how to put it in. It's just like if you were to clean it. Carburetor. I know that I've gotten it out. This is the old one. There we go. Here's the new one. Want to make sure I set that. There we go. So here's the new one. Here's the old one. So we want to make sure everything in orientation is the same. This has got this little white plug thing here. So this came with it, and so it goes on like that. So we're just gonna slap this on. Its O-ring and retaining clip are back here. They're black in this case, not white, because this is an aftermarket Briggs carburetor. So back to the mower. The old retaining clip stuck, and oh, I don't know where the O-ring went to that was on it, because it's not in the carburetor anymore, unless it flew out. So just to be on the safe side, there's this backing plate here. I'm just going to go ahead and retorque these bolts just in case. Another O-ring, it went flying off to the other side of the mower. So maybe this is a defective carburetor or something. Where this comes off easily. So we'll put this on blindly. Its O-ring is already here, so let's go ahead and put it on. So just gotta this new carburetor, I fixed a lawnmower for a neighbor. He had bought it thinking it was for his. He had bought the wrong one. He had a Briggs Classic, not one of these. So I just rebuilt his existing carburetor, and it's been fine since a couple years ago. It's good to help your neighbors out. So let's go ahead and put the linkage on. Like so. Now let's stick the carburetor in on the intake. Oh. There we go. Got that on. got that piece on there. Let's go ahead and put the breather on, billet box on. You know how to go from here. My camera, actually my iPhone, died from battery. Well, while it was charging, I was testing out that new carburetor. It works. I double cut all this back here with it, so it didn't die. It sounded like it was going to once, but it kept going. I also increased the idle a little bit, and after I did that, it was good. And then once I was done, I shut it off. And then I wanted to see if it would start back up again, and it did. It started right back up. So it looks like the issues with this one, it needed a new carburetor. And fortunately, I had one. So it was an aftermarket one, but I had one. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this sit for a couple days, start it back up, see if it starts again. Sometimes just letting it sit, there's a problem. So right now I'm going to take some pictures of this mower for, so when I sell it, and I'm going to take a final look video for you. So again, what I did was tried another spark plug, clean out the air filter, cleaned out the gas tank, sharpened the blade. It had too much oil, so I reduced the oil. Oil's quality was okay. Cleaned out the original carburetor. It still had problems. I then changed it to another carburetor I had on the shelf that was brand new. That was an aftermarket one that I had, and that one seems to work. After I did play around with the governor to raise the idle a little bit. So that'll be this one, and here was your final look.